Oh, yes. January 10th, 2025. Here we are. Running a little bit behind schedule, but not because of anything important, but because I was doing multi research on the subject that I am about to talk about, which is, well, bye, Jerod Mayo. Yes, Jerod Mayo has hit the road. Happy trails, Jerod Mayo. He went from being the linebackers coach to assistant defensive coach to head coach to unemployed. I had a very good friend of mine, Mr. Magic Marlon Wright, who was very adamant about Jerod Mayo not being hired as the Patriots head coach. And he spelled out the reasons why. He said he was unqualified. And Marlon is about as blackety black as you're going to get. But he didn't want this stench of a diversity hire, so to speak, to be associated with a black coach. He wanted him to be a coach, and because he's a Patriots fan, he wanted the coach to be qualified, experienced, and kind of a hard guy. And Mayo came on as a kind of a kumbaya guy, trying to make friends. That's okay if you're a linebackers coach, but not if you're the head coach. And it didn't go well. Well, let's take him off the screen and put me back on. And ladies and gentlemen, let's get right to it. Let's get right to the nitty gritty, the real nitty gritty. Because on January 12th, 2024, Jerod Mayo was hired as the head coach of the New England Patriots. And on January 5th, 2025, January 5th, 2025, Jerod Mayo was fired from the head coaching position of the New England Patriots. Jerod Mayo lasted 1 week short of a full year, or 355 days to be exact. Yes, the Patriots owner, Robert Kraft, the venerable Robert Kraft said he had to have. Now said Mayo had to go. Now, there are a number of reasons why. Number one, he lost 13 out of 17 games. That's going to stick with you a little bit there. The team that he coached, the Patriots, were blown out in many of those games. Discipline on and off the field was a constant problem. The Patriots were one of the most penalized teams on the field. And off the field, they got in trouble with law enforcement repeatedly, from domestic battery charges to driving unregistered or unlicensed with an attitude. Now, when the fans booed them for stinking up the joint, the players felt entitled to state that it was the fans who were spoiled and unappreciative. It was the fans, not the players. It was the fans booing them. They were spoiled and unappreciative. As if the fans should have kissed the feet of a 4-13 team where everybody on the team makes more money than they do, but they're paying to go see them. The players' behavior showed they had no respect for Mayo, and as a result, the fans ended up losing respect for Mayo and the team. Still, Kraft seemed committed to Mayo. But then Jerod Mayo committed the unpardonable sin. The miscalculation that caused it all to come crashing down like a Jenga game, was winning the game he absolutely had to lose. With the 2025 number one draft pick firmly clenched in their grasp, the New England Patriots simply had to lose in the last game of the season, which should have been quite easy since they had already done that 13 times out of 16 games. Everyone knew that they had to lose in order to win. Everyone except for Jerod Mayo. Apparently, Jerod did not get the memo, which is understandable since ownership cannot discuss these type of things with coaching staff anymore, thanks to Brian Flores backstabbing the Miami Dolphins ownership for publicly disclosing what they had told him in private. Yeah, they told him to lose. Since then, matters like losing are not discussed by ownership to avoid getting sued and brought into court on whatever other frivolous charges that can be made after you lose your job. And it's hard for you to get a job in the NFL again, as it happened with Brian Flores. He's lucky to have a job based upon what he did. So, but that being said, Mayo, he should have been able to read the room, right? I mean, it was talked about on the radio constantly. It was talked about on the television constantly. It was talked about everywhere in New England constantly that the Patriots had the number one pick and all they had to do was lose. Well, I'll just keep going. Anyway, to have the wherewithal to know it's obvious, to read the room, to have the wherewithal to know that it's obvious, losing the game was easily in the best interest of the team and of its good friend, Bob Kraft. And Bob Kraft is not only a good friend, but the guy who signs his check. But strangely, none of this registered in Jerod Mayo's consciousness, which casts further doubts on his coaching acumen. As Buffalo played to lose, yes, the Buffalo Bills played to lose. I doubt they wanted to I doubt they wanted the Patriots to have the number one pick. So they were playing to lose. It was obvious. Jerod Mayo played to win. He didn't care about the future of the team. He didn't care about Bob Kraft's best possible outcomes. Hey, Bob Kraft, with friends like Jerod Mayo, who needs enemies? So, in winning, the Patriots went from selecting first to fourth. The Patriots have been in place to receive the most coveted position in the 2025 NFL Draft. The number one pick. Over 200 players are chosen in the NFL Draft, and the Patriots had the first choice of choosing anyone they wanted or trade that prized pick for multiple picks. But that went out the window when the Patriots beat the Buffalo Bills 23-16. In Mayo, the Patriots had a head coach who couldn't win the games he needed to win or lose the one game he was supposed to lose. Mayo's actions, kind of like Benedict Arnold's, it bordered on treason. He was willfully undermining the future of the team. But to be honest, in all fairness, except for that one game, it wasn't all Mayo's fault. You know, it's easy to see why Mayo was overwhelmed by the job. He went from being a linebackers coach to an assistant defensive coordinator and from an assistant DC to a head coach in just 5 years. 5 years. He was a rookie head coach with a very short resume, and that short resume was even shorter when it came to work experience outside of the New England Patriots franchise, which is none. That's been his only entry on his resume as far as employment, the New England Patriots. To his detriment, he had never been in total charge of any part of his on-field operations. I mean, he's the linebacker coach, but he still reports to somebody who reports to somebody who reports to somebody. Offense, defense, or special teams. Now that he was in total control of all three and its many moving parts, including 29 assistant coaches that were chosen for him, this arrangement sounds like an adaptation from Hillary Clinton's Kumbaya adage, "It takes a village." Included in the village were former Patriots like Dante Hightower, Matthew Slater, Tequan Underwood, sons of former Patriots like Steve Belichick, Kobe Tippett, and a bunch of people who have never worked at their assigned position, their currently assigned position, or together before. Poor Jerod. With friends like Bob Kraft, who needs enemies? And it didn't help that his GM, Elliot Wolf, was also a rookie on the job. And as bad as Mayo was, as bad as Mayo performed, as bad as Mayo looked, it could be argued that Wolf performed worse behind the scenes. He got nothing for former 10th round, first round 10th pick, Mac Jones, or for highly prized free agent that they picked up 4 years before, Matthew Judon. He drafted May with the number 3 pick while always having his eye on us. Milton was one of those picks. Quote, Milton was one of those picks where there was too much talent to pass up. Now, if he felt that way, or if he thought that way, feeling has nothing to do with it. If he thought that way, that Milton was too much of a talent to pass up, Wolf should have traded the number 1 pick for the boatload that other teams were offering, then drafted Joe Milton somewhere in the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th round. Because Drake May and Joe Milton are practically the same size. I don't even know which one is bigger. They're almost identical. Okay? Milton has a stronger arm. And he may be more mobile. Now, since he kept the pick, the number 3 pick, where he drafted May, okay, the 6th round pick that he used on Milton should have been used for an offensive lineman. Yeah, it should have been used to help shore up the offensive line. Instead, it was wasted on a player who sat on the bench all year without a direction or a purpose, a waste of the team's resources and the players' time. To make matters more confusing, this season was supposed to be a bridge year. Jacoby Brissett was acquired by the Patriots, Elliott Wolf. Ron is his father. He was the Green Bay Packers GM. But Elliott Wolf, he was acquired by Elliott Wolf to be the starting quarterback. Why? Because as the NFL has progressed and applied and collected data, or collected and applied data to their operations, it has been shown that the majority of quarterbacks that are started early in their first year become damaged goods by their 2nd or 3rd year. And the reason behind that is because the speed of the NFL game is so fast and the power of it is so concussive that they are forced to incorporate tendencies necessary more for survival than to win a game. I mean, it's only natural. You don't take a guy who's coming from high school and start him in college. You don't take a quarterback who was a star in college and immediately started, a star in high school and immediately start him in college. You just don't do it. It's ridiculous. It's beyond illogical. But they expect a guy who was in college to come into the pros where everybody in the pros was a star in college. I mean, a bona fide star. These guys are studs, okay? They're bigger, faster, longer, stronger than they are in college. The professionals are. But you expect and not only that, the schemes are different. The NFL coaches can pop in schemes, concepts that these college guys have never seen. So by starting these guys early, which they've done since there was Burt Jones, and I can remember, they ruined a lot of these guys' career. Trevor Lawrence comes to mind immediately, right off the bat. Mac Jones comes to mind. And the list goes on and on and on and on. Okay? So now that they know this, the key, the idea now is to have that rookie quarterback, okay, there, but have a starter there already. So Brissett would be the starter. And in and around the 10th game or so, when they were out of contention as they're supposed to be, because Brissett's not in there to win. He's not in there to win or create any waves by winning and making it a quarterback controversy. He is there to lose, and so that Drake May can see what not to do. Okay, as the coaches tell him what to do, he'll be watching on the field of what not to do when he watches Jacoby Brissett. So about the 10th game or so, he would be massaged in. Okay, now every GM in the league knows that Jacoby Brissett is prone to injury because he holds on to the ball. He holds on to the football too long. Every GM except for Elliott Wolf. The drafting of May in Milton necessitated the release of last season's backup quarterback, Bailey Zappi. So now the backup to Jacoby Brissett was, you guessed it, Drake May. The backup to a injury-prone Jacoby Brissett was, yes, as I've said before, Drake May. What are we doing here? And the backup to Drake May was, well, another rookie named Joe Milton. Well, as the season goes, Brissett, of course, gets injured in game three, and May is forced to enter the game. Nothing bad happens to him. He manages to make it through. Okay, and Brissett recovers. Great recovery guy. Next game, he was starting again. So game 4, he's starting again. Now, that could have been disastrous. There should have been a backup quarterback named Bailey Zappi there for that specific reason, for when Jacoby Brissett was injured, so that you wouldn't force Drake May into the game. Okay? The fact that Wolf placed the number 3 draft pick in this much of a situation to mar his career, this short-sightedness is inexcusable. But wait, there's more. Wolf failed to address how bad the offensive line was. Even after finding out how bad it was during the inter-team practice with the Philadelphia Eagles on August 12th of 2024. Now, every Patriots reporter who went to that practice came away looking like they had saw the ghost, okay, the Scrooge ghost of Christmas future. Some of them were visibly shaken. You could see it in their eyes. They couldn't believe what they had saw. This was a full 2 weeks before the 53-man roster cut down, giving Elliott Wolf more than enough time to address it by going after offensive linemen and offensive line plays that were released during the 53-man cut down process. But nothing was done. The Patriots line during the season, gave up the 5th most sacks and did so despite having mobile quarterbacks. May spent much of the game he played in running for his life. Now, it's bad. As bad as that seems as the Patriots fans, it's about to get worse. Last week, Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated stated that the Patriots management infrastructure is a skeleton. Is a skeleton compared to most teams in the NFL. They are behind in so many key departments that they are not being taken seriously anymore. Much like the Cincinnati Bengals. You remember those guys? The Cincinnati Bengals? They had a guy named Marvin Lewis, right? He was the coach for 16 years. Marvin Lewis operated on 1/3, 1/4 of the staff as other head coaches. The result was Marvin Lewis never won a playoff game in 16 years. We can say 16 seasons, but you get the idea, okay? Now, that would be funny if it wasn't true. Here's a guy who played 16 years as a head coach in the NFL and never won a playoff game. That's tragic. But that could be what's going on with the Patriots if they don't catch up, okay? I'm never one to assume anything is just true. So when Albert Breer said they were basically running a skeleton crew compared to other franchises, I decided to try and investigate this. I researched it. I can't help myself. that investigative thing in me has never stopped. I researched it. And, well, here's what I found. The Kansas City Chiefs have 780 people in their personnel compared to the Patriots 680. The Baltimore Ravens have 850 compared to the Patriots 680. The San Francisco 49ers have 980 compared to the Patriots 680. So, Greer's right. I just wanted to look at the successful franchises over the last 5 to 10 years. And he's right. These teams are outpacing the Patriots. They are creating new departments, new technology in order to deal with the things that they're finding out, collecting data. They're just not resorting to drafting magazines. No, they're actually doing their own research. So the Patriots are, well, for a storied franchise, they are severely understaffed. I have a feeling that this applies to the scouting department as well as the innovative and technology departments that support the field operations. Bill Belichick, being a great coach, but being that coach for 20 years, came in with a certain amount of wherewithal of what he wanted to do and the technology that he was going to use to do it. But in those 20 years, life has kept going. And during this 20 years at the helm, they have fallen behind. This is just not a one-tier restructure in which a coach is replaced. This is a 3-tier monster. Monster. It requires a massive coaching overhaul. Yeah, those 29 guys that were hired to help Jerod Mayo, a lot of them need to go, okay? It requires total management replacement. I'm sorry, but Elliot Wolf, this is more like 70%. Well, it just keeps going on and on. But it also requires a massive creation of new support systems to assist on-field productivity, assist the coaches in getting the most out of the plays, and the players understanding what's going on and understanding their bodies, what they're trying to do, giving them the technology they need to take home in order to study. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's what it more than likely is going to require. Mr. Kraft, if you're listening, I know you can do it. I know you. Well, what I gave you was the bad news. Now I'm going to give you the good news. The good news is this. If any franchise can get this done, it's the New England Patriots franchise because of that family, the Krafts. Now, the Krafts rise to challenges. They rise up to obstacles. They take them on. I've seen it. From when he bought the team. Bill Parcells. He went out and got Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells was the big name coach, ladies and gentlemen, when he went out and got him. He was not supposed to come to New England, not some rinky-dink place like New England. Kraft got it done. He got Pete Carroll in here after Bill Parcells left. And then he brought in Bill Belichick. Yes, the Krafts are built for challenges. They like challenges. Obstacles are not obstacles. They're just things, challenges for them to overcome. So the good news is that the Krafts, Bob and Jonathan, are here. And if anybody can get it done, well, it's going to be them. It's going to be them, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, that's my story for today. That's my show for today. It was a quite long one because it deserves it. We wish happy trails to Jerod Mayo. Is he going to be a good coach? It's not for me to say. I don't know. But he needs to be in a situation where there are more veterans around him and people who have been in a position that they are now coaching for a period of time and know that position. The NFL is tough. It's a production oriented business. And if you don't produce, well, happy trails, Jerod Mayo. With that, we're out of here. There's a birthday special, but I didn't want to shortchange it by putting it with this one because it involves 3 people who were born in January within 1 week of each other. They're all very well known and they all fought each other. 3 heavyweight champions, Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, and Joe Frazier. That's right. Born within 1 week of one another as far as the birthdays goes. And so they deserve a show on their own, which I will be recording later on today and putting out today. So it will have its own video. Thank you for coming. Amazing Grace Sports Network. I am sorry I forgot to hit the like button. Hit the like button. Leave comments. Have fun. Join in. This includes all you people over 35. Don't be afraid. Okay? Don't be afraid. Join in and leave your comments. If you agree or disagree, if you think the Patriots are coming back, or you think that they're going to be ashes in the ash heap. Until then, until Saturday, when we're on WEZE Radio, AM 590 on your dial, and AM 590 WEZE on your computer. You can call in and you can talk and challenge the host with your knowledge. Until then, ciao.